Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to create this design using FreeCAD Surface Workbench. We have some small surface down here to control to keep the G1 continuity, and also these two up here, G1 continuity. And if you want to learn about the surface modeling, you can follow my tutorial. Okay, so I start with an empty file. And in the part workbench, I will create a path. So I create a sketch in the front view. And I will create a center arc. Start from the center. I select this point, and this line, and I hit C to snap it to the line. I select this point and then this point. I hit D, and I set the distance to 117.5. I close, and I will rename this sketch path. Next, I need a profile to sweep along this path. So I create a new sketch in the right view, and I create a center rectangle. Start from the green line, go out, and I select in this point, and then I hit D, and I set the distance from this point to this red line is 42.5, and the distance from this point to this line is 75, and the length of this line is 60. Now I will select this rectangle and turn that into construction geometry. So I select in the rectangle, and then I hit the hotkey G and N. Okay, G and N. You can see now we have a construction rectangle. Next, I will create in 3 points arc, and I start from here to here inside the rectangle. Now I select this point, and the center line. I hit S for symmetry constraint. And then I select this point and then this line. I hit C to snap it to the line. And then I select in this arc and then this line. I hit T for tangent constraint. I select this point and I hit D, and I set the distance to 65. I create another arc from this point to this point and inside the rectangle. Now I select this arc and then this line and hit T for tangent. Now the sketch is fully constrained. I can close. I should rename this one to profile. Okay, now I can sweep. I click on the profile and put that into the right, and then I click on the sweep part, and then I click on this line and then hit done, and I check on the Freenet uncheck create solid. Okay, and then I click OK. Now we have an open surface. And then I drop the sweep down and select these two and hide it. So the next step is I will remove the back area of this sweep, because I will mirror this one to the other side later. So I will remove this one first. To remove this one, so I go to creating a sketch in the right view, and I create a rectangle. Okay, make sure this rectangle are longer than this sweep, and I close. And then I go to selecting this sketch and I extrude. Extrude this one in the negative x-axis. And let's try 100. Okay. Now I control select the sweep first, the one I want to keep, and then the extrude, the cutter, and then I go to the cut. Now we just remove the back of this surface. The next step is I will create an arc up here like this, and I will use this arc to project to this direction to remove the upper part of the outer surface, and just want to keep the lower part of the outer surface. So how to do that? I create a sketch in the right view, but I click on the reverse direction to turn that into the left view, and then I click OK. And then I will view the section to see through, and I create a circle on this green line. I select the circle and then the red line, and I hit T for tangent. And then I select in the circle and I hit D, and I set it to 60. Okay. Now I want to remove the lower part of this circle, so I will create a line, and you can see this line have the horizontal constraint on it. Okay, so I put this line down here, and I select in this line and then this point, and I hit C to snap it to the point. And then I go to the trim edge, click on it, and then I remove the lower part of the circle and selecting the line, and then I hit G and N to turn that into construction geometry. Now we have 2 degrees of freedom, which is these 2 points, so it's fine. But you can see if I click on this arc, we no longer can move this arc. Okay, so it's fine now. So I close. So I will use this arc to trim the outer surface. I will use the trim face in the curve workbench. So we go to the curve workbench. I will use this tool, the trim face. So to use the trim face, I first selecting the cutter. So I control selecting this one first. Okay, and then I go to the left view. Okay, make sure you click on the left view. This is very important because we will project the cutter in the direction of the left view to and then I will remove the upper part of this surface and keep the lower part of this surface. So the next step is I will control and select this lower face down here. I hold control and selecting this area down here, and then I will use the trim face. Now you can see in the tree view we have a new trim face created, and inside here is my cut. If I show this cut, you can see this cut is still right here. Okay, we just have a new trim face. So the next step, let me go to the front view. The next step is I will create a line from the center, go out and touching this line right here. And I will use this line to remove the upper part of the inner surface and keep the lower part of the inner surface. So how to do that? I go to the part workbench and create a sketch in the front view. And I will reference this line right here. Okay, you click on this line and then you go to view the section, and you can see we have a curve and 2 points like this. Next, I will create a line from the center, go out, and then I select this line and then this point, and then I hit C to snap it to the point. Okay, now I can close. Next, I will go to the curve workbench to use the trim face again. To use the trim face, this case, I go to the front view. I click on the front view, and then I control selecting the cutter, which is the line, and the area I want to keep, which is the lower part right here. Okay, and then I click on the trim face. Now you can see we have a new trim face 001 created. All right. Now I will rename this sketch trim line 1, and this one trim line 2. Okay. Now I can hide these two. The next thing I need to do is I will create a half of an eclipse like this. Okay, and I will extrude this eclipse to about here to creating a surface. And from this surface, I will create a line connecting here and another plane curve connecting here. And later I will calculate to fill in between the surface in between. So to creating an eclipse, I go to the part workbench, and then I creating a sketch in the right view. For this new sketch, I will create an eclipse. I select this line and I hit H for horizontal constraint. I select in this point and I hit D, and I set the distance from this point to the red line is 51.25, and the length of this line is 17.5. and the length of this line is 25. I select this point and then this line. I hit C to snap it. Now I will use the trim edge to remove this line and then this line. Now I can close. Next I will select in this eclipse and I go to extrude. Let's extrude this one to 10. Click OK so that we have this support surface. The next step is I will separate this big surface into 3 pieces. To create the first piece, what I need to do is I will first cut in this surface right here to have this edge, and cut in this surface right here to create this edge. And then I will create in 2 lines to connect in like this. And for this line, I will extrude this line to have a support face. And with this setup, I will fill the surface in between. Okay, with in here is the G1 continuity, and in here also G1 continuity. But because this edge have no face support to it, so I cannot use this big surface. So I just want to use a small area in here. Okay, a small area in here. So after I done that, I will have the first piece. Okay. And to create the second piece, I'm doing the same. I cut another one in here and another one in here. And then I will use the plane curve, 2 plane curve. Okay. And for this plane curve, I will extrude this one out a little bit to create a support face, the same. And then I will fill the surface in here, but I just want to use a little small piece in here. Okay, very small piece in here with the G1 continuity in here, G1, G1 and G1. And I have the second piece. Once I have 2 pieces, I will fill the last one in between very easy. So to create in to slide the surface, I will first create in a sketch in the top view, and then I create in 2 lines. The first line I will put it about here, and the second line to about here. For the first line, I select in this point and hit D, and I set the distance to 12. Okay, somewhere around here. And selecting this point and hit D, and I set the distance to 26. Maybe let's try 27. A little bit outside here. Now make sure this big line is longer than this part, and because we use the short line to cut this one only, so we just need this point over here is fine. I hit close. Now I select in this sketch and I go to extrude. Okay, let's extrude this one to, let's try 200 and symmetric. Click OK. Now to slide, I first need to combine. So I select in the extrude 002, and let's see, I will hide it for a second. And then I will control selecting this one, which is the trim face 001, and this one, the trim face, and this one, the extrude 001. And I go to plot, compound, and make compound. So now we have a single compound. And then I will show the extrude 002. Now I will control selecting the compound first, and then the extrude 002 later. And then I go to the plot, split, and then slide to compound. Okay. Now you can see we just slide this area to have this edge. Slide this area down here to have this edge. Okay, and you can see we have this big edge in here, this big edge down here. Very cool. The next step is we will creating lines to connecting them. So I go to the curve workbench. And in the curve workbench, I will control selecting this point and then this point. And then I create a line, a straight line. Okay. Doing the same in here, I selecting this point and then this point. And then I creating a line. And then down here, instead of creating line, I will use the blank curve. But instead using the blank curve of the curve workbench, which is a little bit complex for you, so I decided to use the blank curve in the surface workbench. So I go to the surface workbench. And then I control selecting this edge first, and then this edge later. Just need to remember which edge you select in first. Okay, and then you creating a blank curve. And when using the blank curve, I selecting the blank curve. And then first step I using the blank curve is I zero out the start size and the end size to turn this blank curve into a straight line for you easy to see what's going on. And you can see the start position and the end position of this blank curve is correct. So the next step is I want to change the start continuity and end continuity to 1 for the G1 continuity. Okay. Next, I will slowly increase the start size to 1. So you can see 1 go to the wrong direction. So I go to -1. So you can see now that is the correct direction. Doing the same down here for the end size. I increase this one to 1. You can see 1 is good. Doing the same in here, control selecting this edge and then this edge. And let's go to the blank curve and selecting the new blank curve and zero out the start size and the end size to turn that into a straight line. And you can say, because I select this edge second, so you can say the blank curve go to the wrong position for this edge, which is the second edge. So I will change the end parameter to 1. So you can see this blank curve jump into the correct direction. Sorry, correct position. And then I change the start continuity to G1 and then the end continuity to G1. Okay, for the G1 continuity. And then I slowly increase the start sign to 1. You can see 1 go to the wrong direction, so I go to -1. And then the end sign to 1. 1 go to the wrong, so I go to -1. Okay, pretty simple. The next step is I will extrude this plane curve and this line to create a support face. So I can select these two, and I go to the part workbench, and I go to extrude, and then I click OK. So you can see we have an arrow in here. So FreeCAD doesn't know the normal direction, the normal vector of these two. So I just simply close this one, and I click on the Y direction. Okay, make sure the Y direction +1, and you click OK. Now you can see you have two surface to work with. Next, I will fill this surface up here. So I go to the surface workbench, and I click on the filling tool, and just simply select in sequence. I select in these edges in sequence. All right. Now I double click on this edge. It's true 003 S3, which is this edge. And in here we have an option about the faces. I click to drop this one down and select in the face one, which is this face. And I choose the continuity to G1 continuity, and I click accept. You can see how the surface change. I double click on the slide edge 17, which is this edge. So you can see this edge, and I don't want to put any continuity in here. So I just leave this one in default is C0. You can click on accept or ignore, is fine. So click on accept for that. I double click on this line. You can see this line is this line right here. We have no face neighbor to this big face, so we have no option in here, so it's fine. And then you double click on this line, and you have an option, the face fine, and then you click on the G1 continuity, and you click accept. Okay. You can see the surface is now curved in this direction, very good. But because in here we don't have any continuity, so I don't want to use this big surface, so I will remove this part later. I click OK. So I go down here and filling again, and start to selecting edges in sequence. And then I just simply double click on this edge. So if I have an option, I just choose a face and choose the G1 for that. This one, the plane curve, we have no option because this edge have no face neighbor to this big face. I go down to the slide edge file, and which is this edge right here. And then I click on the face and the G1 continuity. I click accept. You can see how the surface change. The double click on the extrude. So I want to G1 with this surface. So I select in the face one and the G1 continuity, click accept. Okay, pretty good. Now click OK. I select in this face, and then this face, I hit spacebar to hide it. Okay, and I select in this one, which is the slide, and I also hide it for a second. The next step is I want to combine these two together because I want to I want to remove the front part of these two surfaces. If I go to the top view, let me show you. I want to just simply keep this part. I want to keep this part. And I want to remove this surface. The reason I want to remove is that this surface in this area have the good G1. Okay, and also in here we have a good G1. But in here we have a good curve, but we don't have a good G1 in here. So I want to remove this area and just want to keep this area in here. Okay. Now I will combine these two together first. So I go to selecting this one and this one, and I go to the part workbench. Go to the part, compound, make compound. Now we have a single compound, and then to cut the outer surface, I go to creating a sketch on the top view. And just simply creating a rectangle outside like this, and selecting this point, and I hit D and I set it to 5. Okay, just want to keep a little small piece in here, and I close. Alright, now I selecting this one and go to extrude. Let's extrude this one up to 200. Okay. Alright. Now I control selecting the compound, which is these two surfaces, and the extrude, and I go to cut it, and yes. And let me selecting the line and control selecting the plane curve, and I hit spacebar to hide these two. Alright, and I call this one my two PC. Okay, something like this. Next, I want to show my slide. The slide up here, show it. You can say next I want to fill the surface in the middle. But if I move my mouse over here, you can say we have a bit edge. So I need to also slide this one to about here, and also to about here. All right, and also here and here, so that we have this edge. Okay, to fill the in between surface. I will creating a sketch on the top view, and this time I just simply selecting a line and creating another one in here. And I know that the distance from the center to here to my small piece is 5. Okay, so I selecting this point and I hit D and I set it to 5, and make sure this line is longer than the slide. I close, and you can see we have a line like this, and then I selecting this line and I go to extrude. Let's try 100, and then symmetric, and click OK. I select the extrude and let's increase this one to 200. Next, I will control selecting the slide, and then the extrude 006, and then I go to Path, Split, and then slide to Compile. Now if I come in here and I move my mouse over here, you can see we now have this edge, and also in here we have this edge. Down here we have this edge. Okay, and next I want to combine these surfaces into a single surface before I will fill that in the surface workbench. So I will go to the curve workbench. And in the curve workbench, I will control selecting the slide and then the my two pieces, and then I go to parametric solid. And you can see we just have one single surface in here. Now I go back to the surface workbench. And then I will, using the filling tool, click on it and just simply fill in sequence. Now I will double click on this edge, the edge 18, double click on it. You can see the 18 is this edge. So down here we have an option, the faces. I choose the face, the neighbor face with this big face, and then I choose the G1 continuity and click accept. I double click on this edge 38, which is this one. This one I have, I don't want to have any G1 in here. I just want to have a C0 for that. So I will leave the C0, is okay. I click on accept for that. And then the edge 34, which is this one. C0 is fine. And no need to G1 in here. Accept. 31, which is this one. And I choose the face 9 and the G1 and accept. And you can see the surface have now G1 in this area. I double click on the 27, which is this one, and I choose the face and the G1 and I click accept. I double click on 42 and keep selecting the face and G1. 11, which is this one, choose the face and the G1, accept. 8, G1. Number 5, accept, and then I click OK. Alright, so you can see we have a nice smooth surface in here. But down here, you can see we have so many lines. Okay, we have a line here and a line here, so many unnecessary lines in here. So instead of using this one, which is this surface, I will hide this surface. I hide it, and then I will looking for the my two pieces. I show this one. You can see this one is my too small surface. All right, and then I will looking for, I will drop the slide 001 down, and I drop the slide also, and I looking for the compound, this one, and I show this one. You can see the compound is a much cleaner surface. So I will use this one to join with these three to create a big surface. Let me select this one and rename this to middle surface. Okay. Now I go to the curve workbench. In the curve workbench, I control selecting these surfaces one by one, and make sure you don't select this one. Okay, do not select this one. And then I click on parametric solid. I click on it and I hit spacebar to hide the one of the surface instead of the new surface. Now with this new surface selected, I go to the part workbench and go to the mirror. I want to mirror it in the YZ plane. And I click OK. And then I will select these two and mirror this one again in the X and Z plane. Click OK. Now in the G view, I will drop these two down and select these four. And then I will go to the curve workbench and just simply click on this one, the parametric solid again. And you can see we have a nice clean green solid in here. The next step is I will cut, I will create a detail around this sharp edge in here. So I will go to the part workbench and I create a sketch on the top view. And then I view the section and I create in a circle right in the center. I select the circle and I hit D and I set it to 5. I close. So this circle have the diameter is 5. Now I select in the new sketch and go to the attachment editor. And then for the points, I click on this point. And then I click on this line. And then I click on normal to edge. And then I click OK. So now you can see my new sketch have now a line right in this position and normal to this edge. Next, I will click on the sweep. And then I double click on the sketch 009 to bring that into the selected profile. And then I click on sweep path. And then I control selecting these edges in sequence. Make sure selecting in sequence. And then I click done and then check on the frame net and the creating solid and then click OK. Now we have a new sweep. So I will drop the sweep down and selecting the solid 002 and control selecting the sweep. And just cut it. Now you can see we have a nice clean cut. I select in this circle and I hide it. And then I will fillet these edges. So I just simply control selecting this edge and then this edge. And then fillet with 1. OK. Now you can see the fillet working fine in this case. Let me check in the back. We have a nice clean fillet around the hard edges. Okay, so let me show the shade. So this is the final result. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.